What's going on, guys? Our dude Saz here. You can just call me Saz. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Today I have a different type of video. As you may or may not know, I have switched not completely from digitally drawing to traditional drawing with a pencil, paper, eraser, etc. I recently bought a light pad so I could continue drawing the same way that I do from digital to traditional. And in this video, I kind of want to go over some of the struggles I had with drawing traditionally, and I want to just point out some of the processes I use when I switch my workflow over from digital to physical. So I bought this light pad here for around $16 or so off of eBay, and that really helped because I can really get my workflow going. Because I print out the paper in black and white, and this light pad has 3 different settings of brightness. And what I do is I put the printed picture that I want to draw below it, and then I put my paper on top. I light up the light pad and I just go over some of the key features of the drawing that I want to go over. I had to turn off the lights for this part. So what I usually do is the same process when I digitally draw. Is I line up the features of the face, the eyes, to the nose, to the mouth, the ears, and some very big shapes that I want to kind of point out, such as, the breasts, maybe where the arms are situated, and I just denote them with circles or other simple shapes. My head gets into the view. But see, as you can see, I just go over some very basic shapes here to help me get started on the drawing, so I can save a little bit more time and provide a more accurate image in the end. Here am I rendering the first part of the drawing. And occasionally, as you can see, I'll still light it up, turn on the light pad to see if things are going right, if things are going wrong. So I'm not exactly tracing, in a sense, I'm not tracing the entire image. I'm just looking for the big things and getting the overall gist of the image. It's a weird experience trying to traditionally, because I'm so used to, since it's been 3 and almost a half years trying digitally, switching over to traditional is a little bit harder. But now that I have the light pad and I'm, utilizing the most basics of tools, that I can fairly easily get a handle on drawing. I was really struggling with drawing digitally, and my artwork suffered as a result because I just couldn't find a good brush for me, and I couldn't really find the right program for me. So switching over to traditional drawing has really helped me kind of just get rid of that decision factor, because I really enjoy simply just drawing and not the tools that you can use when drawing. Just rendering out some little more details. I'm always moving the light pad and the picture diagonally. I'm flipping it over because it's just a little bit more comfortable. Maybe I gotta prop up the drawing at an angle like my digital drawing tablet to make it a little bit more comfortable for me to look at and to see, instead of just drawing flat face down. Adjusting the camera, making a little bit more corrections. What I do now, physically drawing, is I just do 2 pass-throughs, or I do the sketch first and then I go straight into rendering on the second phase, because now that I'm kind of just overlaying the features and I'm becoming more accurate with my drawings, I don't need to do a first sketch and then second more render sketch and then third final pass through, and it just saves me a lot more time as well. Okay, so now that I'm done with my first sketch, I take out the printed image and I switch the papers. I take a fresh blank sheet and I take the sketch that I have and I put the sketch on the bottom and the fresh blank sheet at the top. So if I mess up with the rendering, I can just take off the fresh sheet I used on the top and just redraw it over again, which takes a lot more time, but it's better than messing up the entire image completely. Here I am just going over my sketch again. I didn't feel the need to turn off the lights since it's not that important. I could see everything just fine. It's a little bit hard for the camera to pick up. The autofocus is working as intended. I really enjoy traditionally drawing more than digital, I think. So I think for the future, I'll stick with traditional, but I'll still mess around with some digital art programs. I'm kind of moving away from Autodesk Sketchbook. I'm exploring Krita right now. So hopefully something good can come with that. Krita has a lot more realistic brushes than Autodesk Sketchbook. What I'm using to draw is I'm just using a Dollar Tree 0.7 millimeter mechanical pencil. And I'm just using some printer paper. So what I found difficult about just drawing with a HB 0.7 mechanical pencil, it's really hard to get more darker tones without putting a lot of pressure and breaking lead, which means I probably need to use a different type of, maybe like a 2B or a 4B. I think I'll have to go and I think I'll have to go and buy some and mess around with more mechanical pencils and things like that. And if you can see here, I mess up wearing down the lead here. So I have to like wear down the lead so I can get a proper side to the lead so I can shade. So it's just a lot of putting pressure, just reapplying the graphite over and over again and putting a lot more pressure on the areas that I want to shade. And it's not shown in the video here, but after I'm done filming, I kind of go back and I reshade some things that I've missed, which I do a lot of. A lot of the times I'll record the video and I think I'll be done and I'll end the recording and I'm already hours past the drawing, and then I'll just go in and I'll fix a couple of things like her nose or a little bit of shading on the darker areas. I wasn't really too happy with her face, to be honest, because I really don't like drawing characters that are like anime like, but I thought it'd be a good like lesson for me to try on the new light pad. I really do like the way the graphite looks though on the paper. I really messed up with shading like her face. I don't know what I was doing, to be honest. I need a lot more practice shading the face. I just kept messing up over and over again, and it kind of messed with the drawing as a result. I just kept erasing. And then it just looks all messed up, her jawline and things like that. So I probably should have redrew it on another piece of paper. And then here's the final drawing. I went back in. It's hard to see. I went back in. I darkened her hair up here, and I darkened her hair back here. Put a little bit darker tones on her black shirt. Added the stress marks from this being upheld by the ring. Shaded the ring a little bit more, and added more darker details down here, and shaded a little bit of the gloves. And this is my second time drawing physically, and like I said, I really like the look of pencil drawings more than pen and ink drawings. And what my drawings were when I was just using the default basic brush here in Autodesk Sketchbook. I'll also fix her nose a little bit. It's all erased and things like that because I kept erasing her face, which I probably should not have done. But what I like about this setup that I have right here is, as I said, I print out the image, I overlay a fresh sheet of paper, and then I just I do like a half tracing, half drawing method. It helps save me time and it makes the image more accurate. I just line up the features and some basic large shapes. So for instance, I lined up her little bang, her big bang right here, lined up her breasts, a little bit of her arms, and I outlined the lineups of her eyebrows, ears to the bottom of the nose, mouth, the space in between, and it just keeps a more consistent image and it helps make a better image, I think. It's a little bit of half tracing, half drawing. And it really is like my digital workflow, because in Autodesk Sketchbook, I would overlay the image and I'd make a separate layer and I'd draw the big shapes and the lineups, and then I would move the image right next to the drawing and I would just draw off reference, and then when I'm done, I would take out the reference and I would instead look at the big picture I have up on my monitor. So this is basically the same thing. And when I'm drawing here, I also have the image up on my monitor in front of me on my 1080p monitor, so I can see what mistakes I'm making and what needs to be improved in greater detail according to the original drawing that I have up on the top monitor. And just overlay a separate image right here. Like I said, I do 2 pass-throughs now, or 2 layers. I do the first layer, the first sketch with the lineups and everything, and then I do a second final rendering to help me save me time. Now for this final image here, like I said, I'm kind of having trouble achieving more harsher tones, more blacker tones with just the HB 0.07 millimeter mechanical pencil. And this part of her hair wasn't as black as this part was, and neither was this part. Was blacker, and this part was a little bit lighter, and this part was blacker, right? So I think it achieves true to the image, but I'm still kind of experimenting with cross hatching and hatching. I found out with like graphite is after like 3 or 4 layers, the graphite gets a little bit too messy for more or less hatching and cross hatching. So I'm just going to experiment more with shading with mechanical pencil and things like that. And I'm going to mess around with the deeper, darker grades of mechanical pencil. So 2B, 4B, things like that. And I'm going to mess with mechanical pencil sizes. I have a 0.5, 0.7, and 0.9 currently in my possession. 2 of them are pen gear. 0.5 is pen plus gear, pen gear plus, or whatever it's called. And so is a 0.9. This one's just a soft script ink, something Dollar Tree mechanical pencil, right? The things I need to look out when I'm shading is I need to put a lot more pressure on the dark areas, and I'm not really cross-hatching anymore in my drawings. I'm kind of just putting more spaced outlines, so to dictate darkness and blackness, I kind of just put more pressure on the pencil and more lines closer together, and for the lighter ones I just do it spaced out. So I'm kind of exploring that as well, instead of just solving cross-hatching for everything, which looks good, but I kind of typically would rather follow the form. Like with right here, it's extending up and to the left and up to the right up here, so I kind of like to follow the form. I don't know if that goes through well. The camera's not going to pick up everything, and my scanner, when I'm done drawing, I have a printer. Obviously, that's how I print out my images, and I just scan it through at 600 DPI, and I save it to my computer, and so I can digitally post it. So I just need to figure out a little bit more shading with mechanical pencil. I just need more experience with it. And I think this artwork didn't turn out as well because I'm not super good with drawing like anime characters who don't have really defined lips or defined noses, and they have more unrealistic shading. Like I can see her eyes aren't the same size. I just noticed that now. I didn't notice that when I was first drawing. Her eyes aren't really the same size. That's okay. You know, it's just learning. And that's how my second drawing physically went. I did draw Lily from Street Fighter 6. I posted that on my YouTube and on my, you know, other platforms. But I didn't record it. I was testing this out at the first date. So I didn't record that one. But I had the foresight to record this process of me drawing traditionally. And I had fun. I had a lot of fun. I really like drawing traditionally. It's just a lot more work to do compared to drawing digitally. But I think I'm just gonna try to mix the two if I can find a right program and a right pencil brush for me, similar to a pencil brush. I have downloaded the SK sketching brush for Rita, but it's not the same. Like now that I know how traditional drawing feels, I kind of want to go back, or I want to kind of just switch over to physically drawing for the most part, right? So those are my thoughts on drawing traditionally, switching from digital to traditional. My first recording of me drawing physically, but it's my second drawing traditionally. And some thoughts I have on using just a mechanical pencil for everything. I really like that you can, if you want the shade, you kind of wear it down. And if you want more finer details, you switch over to the sharp side. And I was informed online that I should get like a sandpaper, like 800 grit or whatever, I think it is. And that helps you wear down the lead more. So that's what I'm going to do whenever I have the chance to visit someplace that has that type of sandpaper. But anyways, enough rambling. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I wish everyone well on your guys' art journeys. Thank you. Have a nice day and goodbye.